Hey buddy, it's Peter, and this is the 2025 Yamaha Sidewinder SRX LE EPS. But what it really is the final edition of a class-leading sled, because Yamaha is pulling out of sleds. They're taking that money, investing in other areas, probably that have more appeal to global markets rather than just the northern markets. But what that means is we're gonna take a close look, and this is your last chance to get this unit. So this is the last year it's available. It's got a final edition sticker on it, so there's no messing around. It's definitely the final edition. So in this video, what we're going to do is show you a number of things the other videos aren't showing you, including digging into some of the details, just to try to give you an idea of why this thing's so special and why it's a shame to see it go. So let's get going with this review. So before we go too far, I want to thank McLean Sports for giving me complete access to their entire product line. So whether that's motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, or snowmobiles, they have all kinds of stuff in stock. But more important for you, even if you're not local, I can come back to these things again and again and again. So if you have a question that you just wanted an answer to on something like this, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, leave me some positive comments, ask me what you want to know, and I'll make sure I come back to this again and again to make sure you have the information you need. But of course, this one I can only come back to this year. So this sled is really unique. It's got a little bit unique suspension. It's got a unique engine, in fact, a world's unique engine. They don't make an engine like this in anything else that I'm aware of, and Yamaha brags about that. So they've got some unique pieces there. And unlike a lot of segments, when they disappear, it's usually because they're not selling, they're not competitive, and they just kind of get out of it. But this one is Yamaha making a business decision to invest the snowmobile money into more world market type products, and you have a class leading sled that is going away. So let's talk about it. Start at the front, we're gonna work our way back, we're gonna talk about some unique parts of that engine, we're gonna talk about some of the unique features on this unit, and we're gonna help you decide if it's right for you. So if you've seen my videos before, you know I love to talk about weight centralization, because that's one of the key pieces. It's easy to kind of mishmash something together, put high-end shocks on the thing, and then call it your sport machine or your handling machine. Well, this thing is built from the ground up, and Yamaha brags about it. About 60% of the weight centralization, 60% of the mass of this thing is in that main triangle. So again, if you've seen me do side-by-side reviews, motorcycle reviews, and sled reviews here, you know I love to talk about that weight distribution. You can tell when that weight is centralized that they started from a point of rider enjoyment, and especially that matters on any kind of power sport. So they started from a point of rider enjoyment for the handling department, and we're going to talk about the engine in a second. But you've got a suspension here that works to give you high ground clearance. You've got that real good weight centralization. You've got some unique skis here. All of that comes together, but you also have a unique electric power steering system and pretty unique shocks on this thing that also contribute. Now again, if it didn't have that great weight centralization, none of the rest of this would matter nearly as much. You're just trying to make up for something, but you've got good weight centralization and quality components, and that leads to something that's good handling on all conditions. And all conditions is one of the things that you have to really take into account when you're buying a sled. If you just want to go out and have a great sled in certain conditions and an average sled in the rest, but if you want to have a sled that's good in every condition, this is a sled that really excels in that area. So we'll start with a wide angle look here to show you exactly where we are, and we'll come into the suspension. So you've got a couple unique things going on. First of all, you've got a lightweight suspension. So again, forged components and parts here, and all of that is designed to keep it lightweight. You want to have less unsprung weight. But you can also see that you've got a piggyback shock up here. You've got a lot of preload adjustment down there, so it's really adjusted down on that preload right now. But you also have fully electronic adjustable suspension at all three corners. So the rear and both left and front side up front. And what it does is, in my opinion, does the best thing ever. Instead of having to just dial around here like 24 different clicks or something like that, you have something that adjusts in three settings: a firm setting, a medium setting, and a soft setting, all of which can be adjusted from the rider's controls within a second, and it adapts it all together. And I think 3 settings is perfect. You don't want too many settings, but I think the ability to adapt it instantly really matters as well. If you think about going down a trail, if you go down on a dirt bike or something like that, sometimes it's the same trail every time. If you go down the same trail every time on a snowmobile, the conditions can change, and you're going to want to adjust that suspension when you have the ability to do that. And being able to do it in one of 3 settings right from the dash makes it super simple to get the performance that you want. Now we talk about performance, we also have to talk about the steering area here. The steering is also unique. Let's talk about that. So when you talk about electronic power steering, which the EPS is in the name of this thing, it actually is a unique power steering system. So what it does is it feeds into a computer system to give you a natural feel. Now the problem with some power steering systems, especially electronic power steering systems, is they don't give you a really precise feel of what's going on. But this thing is pretty cool. So it feeds in the torque that it's feeling from the skis and the torque that it's feeling from the handlebar into a computer system and sends out to you the exact feedback that you need, the exact assistance that you need. So it feels more natural, but it is instantly ready to adapt to the control that you want to give it, and it makes your ride seamless again, regardless of conditions. So any trail, any condition, you're going to be able to enjoy this thing and have that really precise handling. But handling is only a piece of the package. The engine also is unique, like we talked about. Let's talk about some of this almost 1000cc, 998cc Genesis engine. It's a turbocharged engine that does things a little bit unique. So let's pull out my cheat sheet and talk about what's unique about this engine. All right, so we all know snowmobiles, lots of power, this thing handles really well and it goes really fast, but why does it go fast? Well, it goes fast in any condition. So we've talked about the handling in any condition, but I'm gonna cheat and just read some of the cheat sheet stuff from Yamaha themselves. They have a Yamaha developed Mitsubishi ECU, so a computer that has 9 sensors to gather running condition data, which it computes using a predetermined memory map. In other words, it takes 9 different settings and creates a map for the conditions that you're in. So if you're high up in a mountain, it'll remap it, create the conditions there. If you're low down, if it's humid, if it's not humid, it's looking at 9 different sensors to make sure that wherever you are, uphill, downhill, you know, good weather, poor weather, lots of humidity, less humidity, whatever it is, it's going to adapt this engine and have a map set for you of where it needs to be in order to give you maximum performance throughout the conditions. And that is pretty rare in snowmobile conditions. A lot of times you go up a hill or down, or up a mountain, down a mountain, you're gonna have different conditions, you're gonna have different settings for that. So it's got all of that. It adjusts ignition timing, fuel delivery, manifold air pressure, turbo boost pressure to produce maximum performance under any condition reliably. And that's the big piece too, is you can create maximum performance by tweaking things, but this thing's gonna be reliable. So the other thing we gotta look at is, unlike conventional turbo blow-off valves, the Yamaha ABV redirects air pressure back into the intake side of the compressor to prevent surge and helps maintain impeller speeds, resulting in ready acceleration and seamless power delivery. So again, seamless power delivery, any condition, but there's more to it as well. There's a piece of this that is completely unique, so let's talk about that right now. So one of the challenges with putting a turbo on anything is you end up with turbo lag. Again, that's inconsistent performance, and they wanted consistent performance. So they took an intake system using 3 separate throttle bodies positioned very close to the intake valves instead of just one, and feeding the long intake tubes. It's an innovation. This is me reading from the system now. It's an innovation not seen in any other production turbo on the planet, and another first for Yamaha and the Genesis Turbo. What that means is they basically eliminated most of, or almost all of, the turbo lag by doing something that no other engine has done. And again, this is part of why it's so sad to see this thing leave, because Yamaha has made something truly unique. So we talked about how the suspension and steering is set up to give you consistent quality performance in any condition. We talked about how the engine's designed to give you consistent quality performance in any condition, actually exceptional performance in any condition. Now, all of that doesn't matter if you can't get comfortable in any condition. So what you have first off here is a nice comfortable seat. It's relatively firm, but still, you know, a lot of cush to it. So again, it's not something that you sink into, it's more you sit on it, which is good. It's gonna give you that performance feel. Now it does narrow down on the top here. You've got some interesting footholds here. We're gonna zoom into them in a second. We'll do that just in a second, but that of course allows you to really control your body weight side to side. The other thing this sled is designed to do is not have a ton of body roll on the suspension, so to stay level. So you really have a feeling like you're connected with the ground. And of course you got the footholds and you got good leg control here. Now this one does have an accessory right now mounted here by McLean's to lift it up or down. I'm not sure if this unit is sold or not. I believe it's not, but it may have been almost sold, and they put a little accessory on here so I can adjust the steering up and down. Now it is a Yamaha branded accessory there, so, or at least Yamaha labeled, so I assume it's Yamaha branded, but that allows you to have that tilt steering. That piece is not standard, but let's bring you in now and show you some of the pieces that are standard here. All right, let's just start by showing you those footholds there that I didn't really get a good view of. A lot of manufacturers have this area kind of open, but there is a built-in sort of toe hold there that's gonna allow you to lift up over here and obviously keep your toes in and keep the snow pulling by. So you've got a lot of protection to keep your toe in place in any terrain. Of course, you've also got a running board here that has a lot of snow clearance, allows that snow to dip out of there. But again, that's a little bit unique. Let's take a look at the dash area here. So of course, we have a premium fuel recommendation here on the fuel tank, 91 recommendation here. You do have a 2-position heated seat, so a little bit hard to see lower light here, but it's high and low right there. The dash is up here, and of course key is up there, but your sort of safety switch is right on this side here. A visor warmer as well there. Speaking of warmers, let's just go over here first, and before we start looking at some of the storage on this unit, there are all your, of course, brake there, headlights, your dash control, heated grips, heated thumb setting or throttle setting, and of course your start switch for forward and reverse. So everything's right there. We're not starting it up right now in this video. There's plenty of videos to show you that, but there's your dash there. You do have a 12-volt port up here, so a nice little spot there to keep your gear charged, and of course the key is up on this side. What I like down here is a little unique spot here, kind of Velcro closer, obviously set up to take your phone or something else like that in here. So if you need a little like GPS from your phone, it's going to keep it a little bit warmer, keep it a little bit windproof. And like I said, because it's a Velcro closure, you can sort of hear it snap. Maybe you can't hear it snap, I'm wearing the mic, but it sort of snaps shut there, keeps it clean but easy to get to. You're not fiddling with zippers or anything like that when you're out in the snow. So again, this side here, like we said, those heated grips, throttle side there, kill switch, not a whole lot to show you there. All these panels come off pretty easily here. You can just pop that right there, and they all slide off pretty good. But as we go backwards on this unit, so let's just come back over here. There's a little storage area here. Let's speak of zipper storage. We talked about zippers being a bad thing. Well, that's what you got back here, and it works pretty well. It's sort of like a soft storage unit. Water resistant is what they say. Goes fairly deep, not huge, but it also has the toolkit in there as well. So you have that standard on here as well. So a couple of nice little things to have. No real cargo, true cargo setting back there, but of course you can add accessories and take all the things you need. So again, pretty cool unit for performance, but gives you some practicality as well. So let's wrap up by talking about who this is for and who this is not for. And one thing we should have shown you right off the bat, again, we talked about this being the final edition. There is your final edition badge, and this one is number 965 of 998. So 998 is, of course, the CCs on this. Where's that symbol there? There we go, 998 right there. So 998 of these made, and you have your numbered edition, final edition right there. Let's talk about who this thing's for. So when we talk about who this is for and who it's not for, the obvious one is this is for someone who wants a really good performance machine. This is, again, still rated as a top 10 machine in the industry by all kinds of independent sources. So very good quality machine, and it handles well. It's got a ton of speed, ton of power, and that's kind of what you want, right? Something that's great in any condition. So that's the obvious. Now, who else should buy it? If you are a Yamaha enthusiast, this is your last chance to buy a Yamaha thing. Now, the company is not going anywhere. That's one of the differences with this piece of the company closing down, is you're not just like losing the dealer base or losing the part space or anything like that. They're just repositioning their assets from the snowmobile division to other divisions. And what that means is you can buy, and I can reliably tell you to buy a final year model knowing that the company is still in a strong position to provide parts and that kind of thing. That's a rare thing, and usually when something's closing down or closing shop, it's a sketchy thing. You don't know about parts availability, but Yamaha as a company is still fully in existence. So you end up with something that is truly unique, class leading at the time you buy it, which is what you want to have. And you don't have to worry about the dealer network or the part space drying up on you, and you end up with something truly unique. So that's the other person that should buy it, the Yamaha enthusiast. But who else should buy it? Well, it's not just this sled. There's other Yamahas that are going to be the last ones made. So it's worth a stop by a dealer like McLean's here to your Yamaha dealer to see what they've got in stock, because some of the things that Yamaha does is truly unique, and it's going to be a shame to see them pushing the competition elsewhere, and it's going to be a loss for sure. But this is a unit you can take and get today. Again, even though it's the final edition, you're going to have that dealer base in stock. You get a class-leading machine. It's not like they were winding down in their long-in-the-tooth kind of machines. You have something that's up-to-date, class-leading. And this is available right now at McLean's. And again, it's pretty cool to have a numbered unit knowing you have number whatever of 998. So that's another option for you as well. So there you go. There's my review of this machine. If you have questions that I didn't get to, something I should point out, feel free to let me know in the comments and I can come back to it again and again. And there's lots of other snow machines, ATVs, and motorcycles coming on this channel. So do me a favor, if you made it this far, hit the subscribe button, leave a nice positive comment, and we'll catch you in the next one.